Thanks for joining us today. We're talking about AI. I'm Rob Forrester, president of Guardian and AI enthusiast, joined by my esteemed colleagues, Adrienne Brown and Addison Peevy. We're hoping to have a thoughtful and forward-looking conversation, and I'm glad we're doing it today because if we did it tomorrow, we'd have to rewrite our notes. This stuff's moving so fast. But we wanted to take a minute and just talk about how Guardian's thinking about AI and just the industry in general and where we're headed. So, Adrienne, why don't we start by just talk about AI and how it's changing, affecting the communications industry.
Yeah, okay. Well, in a lot of ways, I'd say that it's not really even just the communications industry. I feel like we've seen that it's changing every industry. And the big things that people are noticing is automation. So taking routine tasks, things that we do every day, and it's either assisting you with them in a huge way, or it's doing them all together. Another way, processing, massive amounts of data, and not just processing it, but giving you insights, unique perspectives, it's doing all of this at an incredible speed. So I think the biggest thing that we've seen is just, it feels like it's come out of nowhere. We blinked and overnight it's upon us, and so I think with that comes a lot of hesitation. There's a lot of, it has so many capabilities, but there is such a feeling that there are still limitations involved.
Yeah. Well, with that, maybe we talk about common concerns and just a little bit of our AI journey. GPT, which was like the big inflection point, released, I think it was November 30th, 2022. So not that long ago. We had AI before, but we didn't have something like GPT and these large language models that you could interact with, not at least public facing at the scale it is. So that hits. And I think we all took a step back, really new, everybody's like using it for funny stuff, but we're thinking immediately about how do we use this for comms? Do we use it for comms? Being a faith-based organization and serving faith-based clients, the faith piece is really foundational, and believing that, we have this divine spark, we are made in God's image, we're his handiwork. And so what does it mean then to leverage kind of machines to do some of this work? And so I think we had to wrestle through that and reflect on that. And we wrestled through a lot of the fear that a lot of other professionals had. And we probably still have mixed feelings about AI. I know personally, I wish it wasn't out there, but it is. And so I've reconciled myself to, we want to be the very best communications agency for our clients, for the kingdom, for these eternal goals. And I think to do so, it is integrating AI. Yes. The mantra that's out there now is that AI won't take your job, but somebody who knows how to use it, AI will. And I think that's what we're leaning into, we want to know how to use it well. So we'll talk a little bit about the ethical and some other in a minute, I know, but it's a little bit of, we did spend a lot of time reflecting on this, and I think now have embraced it, but thoughtfully, wisely. That is a deep part of our DNA. Let's go slow and make sure we're doing whatever we do with excellence and consideration. So would you guys agree?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. All right, so one other important note, I think, is the predictions, years ago, was that AI may affect kind of blue collar industry first and then white collar. And it's really been flip-flopped, whereas knowledge work is kind of top of the list. And top of that list is the creative industry. And so as creatives, as some form of creatives, we've really seen this and felt it. And it is disrupting our industry more so than maybe any other. So we want to get, again, on the boat and figure out how to drive this to success for ourselves. So enough from me. You guys weigh in with your wisdom. Addison, Adrienne, how are you using it? How have you seen it change our work?
Yeah, well, I think we want to be good stewards of all of the resources and tools that we have. So that includes AI. We want to do so with wisdom and practicality, and it can help advance these faith-based organizations in their work. And we've been exploring it in every aspect of comms. So whether that's with administrative tasks like scheduling and note-taking, and then other things like research and creative work that includes design and content development. I think it's really cool to see that it can help us with our crisis monitoring and summarizing thousands of articles and social media posts. And then we get to spend more of our time with that strategic and deep thinking that really adds value to our clients.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I feel like it has supercharged our team. I feel like we've thought of it more as each person on the team now has an assistant or another team member working with them side by side, and that team member is AI. And so, I mean, you brought it up, Rob, there is such a fear that there will be a widespread, replacement Terminator style of the workforce, right? Yeah. And I think instead it's more that we're trying to look at it like, how can it enhance us? How can we be supercharged with AI and use it for good and use it to free up our time so that we can be more creative, we can have more capacity for more work and more things, more creative thinking and that sort of thing.
Yeah, and I want to bounce off that and echo of we're not checking our brains at the door.
Right.
I think that's an important piece of this, and and it's not Terminator and Skynet. It's like it is a tool that we will use, and it will serve us. We will not serve it, so to speak. And so just like any other tool, since the dawn of man, it's been this kind of slow march, but we'll use it to improve what we already do, but humanity will be at the center of that. And so, but I do think, let's talk real quick about just ethical, moral, legal considerations. Because I think this is where the rubber meets the road in terms of concern. We've seen this in culture, but we've seen it firsthand with clients. As we all work together to figure this out, I think that's what is encouraging is, for the most part, everybody we're working with is open-minded on it. But, they want to be really thoughtful about it, particularly when it comes to confidentiality of information and then the ethical, legal, like copyright concerns.
Right.
Yeah.
Both very valid. And I know that, we take, we're very thoughtful and take a lot of steps on the confidentiality part to, if we're putting information into, let's say, GPT, we're paying for the level and have the buttons push where it's not using it for training data. But even with that, we're scrubbing sensitive information or perhaps brand names when warranted from that. So we're taking many steps to make sure that's protected. And that's really working with LLMs. Then there's this other category that I think we feel collectively is a lot safer, and that's the Canvas, the Adobes, these products that already have our trust, but they've sprinkled some AI magic in there. And so it's just making it a little better. But that is still AI. I just say it's a different category. So, and then the copyright of, that's got to get worked out in the courts. And, I see that some of these things are sucking up copyrighted material, and that's not good. Though I think anybody who steps back from technology realizes there are always going to be bumps along the way in adoption and working these things out. And so we're seeing that. And so I'm sure if it's your material, you're upset about it. But at a macro level, this stuff will get sorted out.
Yeah, I mean, I think, but you're right. I think there is such a fear of adoption with anything new because there's a fear of the unknown. And so I feel like you've been encouraging with us and our team to, how can we overcome that fear by getting to know it, by getting to know AI? What is it? What is it capable of? What are the tools? We've learned so much in the last couple of years even. And like you said, you're learning every day. Something new is coming out every day. So there's always something that you can be growing and learning when it comes to this. And I think that really is, at least, I know that sounds like a philosophical way to overcome the adoption problem. But I mean, what do you really think what do you see, Addison, in terms of what are the reasons why some organizations might be hesitant in kind of talking more about the privacy issues that Rob mentioned?
Yeah, I mean, I think people understandably have concerns about privacy, like you said, because if you're dealing with sensitive information, it can be scary. And when you hear that an AI large language model is learning from your information, you're going to be hesitant to put that in there. And so like you said, you can scrub it and use it carefully, but you can also vet the tools that you're using. And so you want to be careful to make sure that it not only accomplishes what you want it to, but that your information is secure as well.
Yeah, and I know you've spent a lot of time vetting tools for us. kind of like I made a joke about at the beginning, this stuff changes so fast and there's a new tool every day. And so it takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
And Addison has given a lot of her, valuable time to vetting tools for us and which ones are the best and, thinking about the ethical, legal, confidential, ramifications of these things. So
yeah. And I think that our vetting process, you might be overwhelmed whenever you look at all of the different tools, but I've kind of boiled it down to these 4 areas that are important whenever you're looking at a new AI tool. First is the use case, and then output quality, privacy policies, and cost.
Yeah.
Whenever you have a tool, you're looking at the various use cases because you don't want one tool for each task because at the end of the day, that's not very practical.
Right.
So you want to make sure that it's doing multiple things and that it's also producing a quality output. It's working with you. Yeah. And it's not going to be a waste of time.
Yeah, I've seen some of the promo reels for these that come out and I get so excited and I go in there to play with it and it's like, oh, it could be some user error, but it's clearly it's not game time ready. So we really appreciate that work that you do. And yeah, it can be death by 1,000 cuts there's a lot of expense when you add up a lot of seats on a lot of tools. So let's make sure we're using the very best ones, the ones that are being careful themselves to do this right. And then, running it through our filter to make sure we're protecting our clients, but also, leveraging it for increased impact.
Yeah. Definitely. And I wanted to hear you talk more, Rob, about the human oversight. I feel like Addison is in that situation, the human oversight that's working alongside AI. But how would you encourage other organizations to be thinking about, balancing AI's super efficient capabilities with the need for human oversight? Not checking our brain at the door, like you said.
Yeah, that's a good first step. But the thing to emphasize is for us, it's always a collaboration. So we're not putting a prompt into AI and then just hitting send on whatever it generates to the client or media, et cetera. It's human generated, it's human partnership. We're using it as a tool. Now we may use it for editing or research or rewrite this paragraph or whatever, but we're controlling it. And we're making sure, and not just one person, our philosophy at Guardian is that many eyes see it before it goes out the door. Yes. And so many of us are seeing it. AI is just one more seat at a table full of humans. And so we want to leverage it. I think it's now at graduate level, mediocre graduate level intelligence, which is exciting, soon to be hopefully PhD. But it's just one seat at the table. And so it's collaborative. I would encourage everybody, for it to be collaborative. I think we're hopefully a long way away from ever handing something over completely.
Yeah.
And again, we believe as faith-based people that we have this, divine spark made in the image of God, and we have something divine to offer that a machine can't replicate. And so it will serve us. We're not going to hand over control to it.
Right.
All right. How about a little lightning round?
Ooh,
you guys up for some questions?
Yeah,
I got a few that I think, maybe a lot of people are asking. So how about favorite AI tool? Let's just start there. Or favorite thing to use it for.
Okay. Favorite AI tool
out there or way to use it,
out of the thousands. No, I would say I think Grammarly. It's fantastic. If you're not using Grammarly, go for it. I love grammar and editing, proofing.
You are really good at it.
It's an awesome tool to help you as you go. So it's not even a after the fact. It's really helpful as you go, as you write. To have that extra. Honestly, it's like an extra proofreader just hanging out with you and writing on your writing team with you.
Yeah. We love Grammarly.
And I love Zoom. They have a ton of new integrations and things that they're putting out, but it helps with scheduling, note-taking, transcripts. It's really practical.
Yeah, they are always innovating, it seems like. Every day, it seems I get a new email.
Yes.
I can't keep up, so I'm glad you're keeping up. Mine is probably Midjourney or other image generators.
Ooh,
I think it's fun. I've had a fun time and what time I can carve out to go play with these and create images and see, how we can dream a little. The world is content and kind of creative right now. We're in that age. And so anything that can help us do that better. So that's been fun. And we will talk more about play, but I think that's a important concept in all this.
Yes.
So All right. Second one.
Okay.
How about one way you've used AI in your personal life?
Ooh. Last month, I actually used it to help me plan a vacation around New England. It knew some places to eat, places to see, and
Travel.
we tried it out, and it was really great.
Yeah, all spot on.
Yeah, it was really spot on. It even can help me with the time. So it tells me where I'm going to drive, how long it's going to take me, how long I should spend in a certain spot. It's like
little travel agent.
Yeah,
little travel agent.
Travel agent in a box, yeah.
Okay, I've used it recently. I hadn't done this before, but you can plug in ingredients you have on hand, how much time you have, what kind of food you want to eat, if you want it to be healthy or not healthy, how many people you're cooking for. Awesome. At least the meal I made was good.
Michelin star.
I'll let you know if it gives me something terrible. But yeah, I'm going to open up a restaurant, AI recipes only, strictly.
Yeah,
it's
you
great.
can blame it on AI if it's bad, but
exactly.
Take credit. Yeah, it's good. Yeah. Mine, so health and medical guidance.
Oh, no, yeah.
Bit of a biohacker, so I vet it, with other parties and people, but that's been helpful. Tackling kids' math problems
That is
and
excellent.
homework because I can't
Smart.
remember all the different steps, and so shoot the camera at it and get the steps. My kids think it's like
They
truly
think you're a
magic.
mathematician. Yeah.
It's like the Wizard of Oz. And then travel research. I think it's so helpful for travel research and really any kind of research. So that's been great. How about a common myth
Ooh, okay.
about AI maybe that you want to debunk?
That if you can't get what you want on the very first try, you should just give up and it's never going to work.
Yeah.
Because that's just not true.
It's not how life works.
It's not how life works. You have to work to give it the context and help it understand your goals. And I mean, it's going to get better, you know? So just keep at it.
I mean, I think most folks probably know by now, there's like a whole field, prompt engineering. Of how do you word something to get what you want back? So to your point.
I think I'd add, I think at the beginning of all this whole thing for years ago, it felt like a myth was that this was only for the tech world, tech bubble, or this is only for developers or that sort of thing. And now I feel like we've reached a point and it's so prevalent across every industry that you can really find your place in it, no matter what your role is, no matter what you do. And that's exciting. I feel like that's a common myth, though, that I feel like people still think it's only for certain interests or certain types of people or certain roles or whatever.
Well, I'm gonna jump on that because mine would be that it's not a game changer.
I
think that's the myth that if you look at the amount of investment dollars going into this, and if you're tracking it and seeing what's coming out and what these tools can do, you're blown away. But a lot of people, I look around and they know a little bit, but this wave is coming, I think. I could be wrong, but it feels like it's coming and it's huge. It's going to change so much. And so I would encourage everybody to start learning how to integrate it. Again, I think you are at a point now you can take some baby steps and you have a little time, but it won't be that way that long. And so if you don't get on this train, you're going to be caught flat-footed because this is going to change a lot. So that's my myth that I want to bust. All right, what's final one?
Okay.
Because I know we're running out of time, but what's one practical tip for someone trying to get started in AI?
Oh.
Speaking about that baby steps.
So baby steps. I think that the best way to start is to use it for what you want to use it for personally. So that was awesome. You're asking us, like, if you have a trip coming up, use it for research. If you got kid homework you're doing with your kids, like, use it for that. Use it for the things that you just to test and play around with it. So that way you can start to really see some opportunities for how it might actually get infused into your work life. And into your,
I think I told you I saw a vintage car on the road.
Yes.
Took a picture. It was like, what is this? And that was a fun way to use it.
Yeah, but then, now you're learning more about how we can do that. And then you used it for your math problems.
Yeah, my math problems.
Exactly.
Yeah. Don't tell the teacher.
Yeah, kind of in the same spirit. Start small. When you start small with those admin tasks or things you just need help with, then it's going to make you want to use it for other things, and
it'll free you up.
I think that's really
it'll
true.
free up your time and you'll really get to reap that benefit of other deep thinking.
Yeah, that's a great point is when I've used it, it then makes me want to use it more.
Yeah.
So it's smart. Mine would be pick some ways to keep up to date and integrate those into your life. So I know at Guardian, our team has kind of made a commitment to, consistently digesting information. So a lot of us get email, newsletters pushed to us daily, or listen to podcasts daily or weekly. But, really that atomic habits type mentality of let's just get in the habit of doing something, even if it's a small step, but daily or weekly, but on a consistent basis. And we look back over a period of weeks or months, and we're really up to date, and we know more than 95% of the people, our peers and other folks. So just take a bite every day or every couple of days to learn a little bit. And these terms that initially sound really confusing and intimidating, all of a sudden you know what those are and you can speak that language. And then the other thing I want to come back around to is play. And I think, we said that's an important concept, is you have to create time to just go play with these things. You can read about them all day long, but get in there and just have some fun. And whether it's personal life, professional life, just create a little time.
Experiment.
And I think, like that childlikeness, going back to just this open kind of beginner's mind with AI can be really helpful. Well, before I wrap us, anything else we didn't mention you guys wanted to hit on?
No, I think you got it.
Okay.
Yeah. You got it all.
Well, no, I didn't. There's one other thing I realized that I wanted to mention, and it's just this working hypothesis.
Okay.
We'll see if you agree, see if I'm right. But, most of life is distributed on a bell curve. I think communications, when you look at the field, is distributed on a bell curve. And, that center of the bell curve is just the blocking and tackling of communications, the things you're doing daily, weekly, internal comms, press releases, whatever. I think a lot of that is going to be taken over by AI. I think that in a lot of industries, AI is going to go for that middle of the bell curve stuff. And so, one, how can we learn how to use AI well to do that with greater efficiency and just a greater impact? So we want to be in that, but also realizing as it carries more of the load there, that frees us up, as Addison alluded to earlier, to go to that front side, which I'd say is strategy, creativity, good thinking, judgment, taste, things that AI may not be able to touch, at least in the near term. And so, again, how do we use it well to do the center, but then how do we go to that front side, which feels like the realm of kind of real excellence and magic and that divine spark, that's where that comes into play. Well, that's it for today. So thanks for joining us. We're on this journey, again, alongside a lot of you. We're happy to dialogue with you about it, brainstorm, or tell you more about how we're thinking about it and using it. But that's a sneak peek into how we're thinking about it. So good luck on your AI journey. Thanks for joining us.